Hello and welcome back to the Two Tiers Deep podcast. And it's a special one because it is time for the 2025 Two Tiers Deep Awards. But first of all, Chloe, you're back in the UK. How are you?
Cold. It's cold. Um, no, it's obviously really nice to be back in the UK and obviously being back at home and getting in the Christmas spirit is certainly a lot different to the Christmas spirit in Dubai. But obviously you have the luxury of the heat in Dubai. So yeah, I can't complain. Happy to be back. And yeah, looking forward to going with these two tier deep awards.
This was an idea on a whim that escalated very quickly. It's safe to say. But first of all, I think we should give everyone a little bit of context as to why we're doing this. And I mean, from our point of view, I think it stemmed from obviously we've had a really big year for domestic cricket in the UK with the game being handed back to the 18 professional counties and also the minor counties. And it felt like there was a real opportunity to celebrate women's cricket. I'm wondering what your take is on it all.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think that all the tiers need to be celebrated, and it's obviously been the first year of this new Project Darwin after the successful regional structure that we've had over the past 4 or 5 years. So, yeah, to sort of be able to highlight some fantastic moments from the first season of the new tier structure, I think, yeah, it was a pretty cool idea that we came up with, and now seeing it in action and how I guess you mainly have finally got it all out and posted it to the public. Yeah, I'm really excited to go forward with it and also use our platform of podcast to showcase the women's game this year.
I mean, I guess it links quite closely to the podcast because we started the podcast because there was very little coverage of tier two cricket, and we do try and give as much coverage as we can to the tier three game. I think it's really important. Um, and yeah, it's super exciting to be able to give these players an opportunity to be recognised alongside their peers because for tier one players, they have the PCA awards each year. But obviously, with tier two and tier three not being professional, the PCA have very little connection to those teams. So it probably wouldn't be fitting for them to put something on. So we are hoping we can do a little something to make up for that.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not all about, I guess, the professional game in tier one. There's been so much fantastic cricket, fantastic performances from tier two to tier three, and some serious standout moments across all three tiers that certainly need to be recognised. And yeah, certainly looking forward to going through all of the tiers now and all of the awards and announcing who has won each category.
Indeed. And before we do, we need to give a massive shout out to Lee and Lacuna Sports, who I had a phone call with Lee back in September, and I told her about our ideas for these awards, and she said Lacuna would love to be involved. She then proceeded to send £600 worth of Lacuna kit for the tier two and tier three players as prizes, which is just unbelievable. And we can't even begin to express how much we appreciate Lee, Lacuna, and their generosity for giving these players something in return for all of their hard work this season.
Yeah, I mean, when that parcel arrived at yours and you opened it, I was just amazed with what Lee and Lacuna Sports sort of gifted us for these awards, and I think it's quite a nice little sentimental touch, and hopefully going forward, um, us and them can do something pretty special for the women's game across all tiers and help keep celebrating them over the next few years as well.
I can confirm to people wondering it was a very big box. Um, and I wasn't home when it was delivered, so my poor flatmate had to go and rescue it for me and keep it in her room for a week. So shout out to Daisy as well for that because it was quite a hefty one.
Yeah, it wasn't a small box at all, was it? It was a fairly big box with some seriously cool prizes and I guess donations from Lacuna Sports. And these, once we announce all the winners, we'll arrange getting them, I guess, shipped out and sent out to appropriate people.
Indeed. I mean, shall we start going through our shortlists and our winners?
Let's do it. Do we want to touch on the panel we used as well, or before we start? And obviously, some of the awards were player nominated and player chosen as well, which is pretty cool as well.
We definitely should touch on our panel. I think one of the things that felt really important throughout these whole awards was showing these tiered players that they are recognised from the ground up, and that starts with a really strong panel who understands the ins and outs of the women's game. It's a five-strong panel, starting with Charlotte Ashton, who is a freelance women's cricket creator and journalist, also does work with Yorkshire, and she is an expert on all things tier one and tier two, and probably even tier three cricket. I honestly don't know how she has enough hours in the day. Georgie Heath, who we know and love, freelance commentator and host. She does work with pretty much all of the counties. She ran as Carmen the Bear in the mascot race at the Tier 1 Vitality Blast finals day. She's always getting stuck in. Michael McCann, another freelance commentator. You will be used to listening to his voice if you follow Tier 1 and Tier 2 cricket. Braff Nicholson, a Guardian journalist and also an academic and women's history researcher. And then Toby Reynolds, another freelance commentator, journalist, and host. He's always busy. He covers the men's and women's game. And I'd like to say we've also covered quite a lot of geography with those picks as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think just that knowledge in the panel of the women's game is so important. And like you said at the start, they certainly need to be recognised as people that support or have supported the women's game from the start and are still supporting it now, all the way through into the new tier system. So yeah, it felt right to get people on board who have been there pretty much from the start.
It did indeed. And you will also notice, as well as Lacuna as our headline sponsor, each award is sponsored by an iconic women's cricket brand. Another way I think of showing how women's cricket is recognised from the ground up and showing how valued it is by all those within the women's cricket community. But should we get into the awards, Chloe?
Let's go. Do you want to start in order from the top of the list, or we want to finish with tier three, or do we want to start with tier three?
Should we start with tier three? We'll give them some
Yeah.
proper limelight.
Okay, let's start with the first award of the podcast. So this is tier three, one day player of the year. And this award is kindly sponsored by the Paddock and the Pavilion podcast. So nominees for this award are Ellie Mason from Cheshire with 312 runs, Elle Goldsworthy from Devon with 272 runs, Amy Griffiths from Shropshire with 24 wickets, and Katie Donovan from Devon with 19 wickets. And the winner of the One Day Player of the Year for Tier 3 is Amy Griffiths.
Massive shout out to Amy. I mean, 24 wickets in a one day campaign is no easy feat, and we'll make sure to get your prize to you very soon.
And I guess just a big shout out to the other three nominees in the One Day Player of the Year for Tier 3. Lots of runs scored, lots of wickets taken, and it certainly looked like a good one day trophy for Tier 3 this year. Moving on, I'm going to pass you over for the Tier 3 T20 Player of the Year.
For our Tier 3 T20 Player of the Year, it is sponsored by Is That Middle. And our four nominees are, again, Amy Griffiths of Shropshire for 19 wickets, Sophie Mitchell-Moore of Oxfordshire for 434 runs, Sophie Grayson of Oxfordshire for 407 runs, and Stephanie Hutchins of Devon for 16 wickets. And our winner is Sophie Mitchell-Moore of Oxfordshire. It just had to be for those 434 runs.
Yeah, what a T20 campaign that is with the bat for Sophie Mitchell-Moore. 434 runs across a T20 campaign, I think is superb. And I think it just goes to show how explosive she was at the top of the order for Oxfordshire. And also probably helps that Oxfordshire reached their finals day in their group with T20s as well. So yeah, big well done to Sophie Mitchmore, and a big well done to all the other 4 nominees as well.
And now I get to hand back to Chloe, who has the totally easy job of our tier 3 best 11. I wish you luck, Chloe.
So now moving on to our tier 3 best 11 of the year. And this is kindly sponsored by JW Fielding. Okay, so number 1 is Sophie Mitchmore from Oxfordshire, with across both campaigns scoring 530 runs. Number 2, Sophie Grayson, again from Oxfordshire, 528 runs. Ellie Mason from Cheshire, 419 runs. Elle Goldsby coming in 4th place, with Devon scoring 410 runs. 5th place is Roshini Prince Natharatnam from Cheshire, scoring 355 runs. Number 6 is Ellie Ingram, and she is our wicketkeeper from Oxfordshire with 19 dismissals. Number 7, Amy Griffiths from Shropshire with 31 wickets. Number 8 is Natasha McBean from Buckinghamshire with 27 wickets. Coming in at 9 is Shayna Shiklia from Berkshire with 26 wickets. Coming in at 10th is Kate Brazier from Shropshire with 24 wickets. And 11 is Katie Donovan from Devon with 24 wickets. Now, across tier 3 in both competitions, that is a lot of runs and a lot of wickets individually taken by these 11 players. So for us, these are our standout 11 players across the tier 3 from both 50 overs and T20. Are there any shout outs in that 11 that you think deserves extra shout outs?
I mean, I feel like we've got to mention Amy Griffiths again for her 31 wickets. She was on a mad one this year, that's for sure.
And I guess if we just want to touch base as well of Sophie Mitchmore scoring 530 runs across the one day and the T20 with the bat. And I presume her opening partner, Sophie Grayson, scoring 528 runs across both. So two runs short of Sophie, both Sophies actually. So yeah, they've had a standout performance from Oxfordshire with the bat as well this year.
Sophie Squared were definitely on fire for Oxfordshire, that is for sure.
Perfect. Shall we move on to our first tier 2 award?
I think we should. And there's an additional category in tier 2. Because, Chloe, we've got a Players Player Award voted for by players from the 10 tier 2 counties.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly going to be a special award, always nominated by your peers and winning, I guess, because your peers have voted for you. That's probably the one that usually means the most, or does mean the most to a player.
Should we start with that one?
Let's go. Do you want to take it away?
More than happy. Our Tier 2 Players Player Award is sponsored by Not Out. If you haven't checked out Matt and his work, he does amazing work surrounding mental health and cricket, so please do go and pop them a follow. And we're not going to announce a shortlist for this. I'm going to reveal our top 3 as voted for by the Tier 2 contingent. In 3rd place, we had Bethan Gammon of Glamorgan. In 2nd place, we had Finty Trussler of Middlesex, and our winner by a mile was Seska Sweet of Leicestershire, who was absolutely unreal this year.
Yeah, what a breakout year for Seska Sweet. I guess no one heard of her over the regional system, and she sort of came out of nowhere this year in tier 2. And I guess has been rewarded this season with the move to Glamorgan, who are going to be tier 1 following the end of next season. So yeah, fantastic season for her, and it's always great to see someone just pop out of nowhere and absolutely dominate the women's game. And I guess it's a new superstar in the women's game, and someone to be looking out for in the next couple of years.
He definitely is, that is for sure. Congratulations to Seska.
Moving on to our second tier 2 award is our Young Player of the Season, sponsored by Is That Middle. So our 3 nominees for this award is Seska Sweet from Leicestershire, Finty Trussler from Middlesex, and Maddie Ward from Yorkshire. And the winner of the Young Player of the Season is Maddie Ward. What a year Maddie Ward has had for Yorkshire with the bat, the gloves, the ball, the leadership. Yeah, she's had a fantastic season for Yorkshire, and I guess I look forward to seeing how she goes in a Tier 1 environment against a strong Tier 1 oppositions.
I mean, she's been unreal, as you say. I think we've sung her a lot of praises on the podcast this year, the way she led Yorkshire in the T20 Blast. And also, it's a genuine triple threat. Can not only bat and wicket keep, she can bowl, which is news to everyone, I think, this year. But massive congratulations to her. She's been absolutely mega.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if she continues those three, I guess, skills in Tier 1, whether we'll see her bowl some overs. Obviously, with Lauren Winfield Hill, I imagine being around full time now they go into Tier 1. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Let's move on to the Tier 2 Player of the Season, sponsored by the County Cricket Podcast. So, our three nominations for these are Saskia Hawley from Middlesex, Ria Fackrell from Yorkshire, and Amy Campbell from Yorkshire. So, the winner of the Tier 2 Player of the Season is Amy Campbell. Do you want to say a little bit on Amy Campbell's season this year?
I mean, yeah, more than happy to. Amy has had quite the year, I think it's safe to say. The innings that really pops out to me was her 150 in the one day cup. But it's been really good to see her firing in Tier 2. And I hope to see her firing again in Tier 1 when she's back on the professional stage next year.
Yeah, I think that's a key point with her. I think we know how explosive she is as a batter, and that's her game through and through. So I think it's going to be quite exciting to see her back at that top level, and sort of take her momentum from this year, dominating in Tier 2 and continue hopefully smashing the ball around the park in Tier 1. But yeah, big shout out and big congratulations to Amy Campbell.
Another shout out to Amy because she's appeared on the Two Tiers Deep podcast and is a friend of the pod. So we're super pleased for you. We should say, though, no biased, all panel selected.
Let's move on, and you can take this one, of our Tier 2 Best 11 of the year.
Let's get into this Tier 2 11 of the year, sponsored by Runs for Research. Opening the batting, we've got a duo of Laurens, Lauren Parfitt of Glamorgan and Lauren Winfield Hill of Yorkshire, who is also our wicketkeeper. At 3, Michaela Kirk of Northants. At 4, Amy Campbell of Yorkshire. At 5, Finty Trussler of Middlesex, joined by her opening batting partner at Middlesex, Izzy Routledge. At 7, Seska Sweet of Leicestershire, our Tier 2 players player. At 8, Bethan Gammon of Glamorgan. At 9, Saskia Hawley of Middlesex. At 10, Ria Fackrell of Yorkshire. And at 11, Gemma Porter of Glamorgan. And big mix of names and quite the season from all involved.
Yeah, certainly a batting dominant 11. But yeah, all of those 11 had such a fantastic season in Tier 2. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of these players in the next few years. There's quite a lot of young players on that list, sort of pushing on professional contracts and knocking on Tier 1 doors. But yeah, that's quite a frightening best 11 from Tier 2. So yeah, there's not much more I can add on that, and I look forward to seeing how they go next year for the 2026 season.
All of the players you have just heard mentioned there will be receiving a cricket ball from Lacuna, and our individual award winners will be receiving a bundle which includes some grip socks, a cap, and a cricket ball. Massive thanks again to Lee and Lacuna for their generosity with those prizes. Shall we have a look at Tier 1? Chloe, and I'm going to throw the hat back to you.
Moving on to our first award in Tier 1 is our Young Player of the Season, sponsored by the T20 Blast podcast. So our three nominees are Millie Taylor from Warwickshire, Esme McGregor from Essex, and Davina Perrin from Warwickshire. And for me, there can only be one winner out of these three, and that is Davina Perrin from Warwickshire. Yeah, what a standout season she's had, and obviously a big shout out for her to be nominated for Young Sports Personality of the Year as well. Um, to even just be in that category of those nominations, I think just says what a season she's had with the bat, and sort of dominated as this young cricketer on the big stage. But also a big shout out to Millie and Esme McGregor. They both had a fantastic season for their counties respectively.
Dav is definitely one to watch. She's been playing at a professional level since she was 14, which is pretty nuts when you think about it. A real breakthrough year for her, and really excited to see what she gets up to next season. Now let's have a look at our Tier 1 Player of the Season, sponsored by How's That Cricket Kids magazine. Our nominees were Catherine Bryce of The Blaze, Kira Chaffley of Surrey, and Emma Lamb of Lancashire. And there was only one winner here after an outstanding season, and that was Emma Lamb.
I mean, I think we've spoken about Emma Lamb all throughout this season and sort of how dominant she's been with the bat, and sort of not like a bit of a comeback year for her, but she obviously had an injury the season before and lost her England contract. But she just looks like a completely different level of a batter this season and has absolutely dominated it for Lancashire. And by rights is our Tier 1 Player of the Year. Moving on to our Tier 1 Best 11 of the season, sponsored by the Cricket Draft. So, open the batting, we have Emma Lamb from Lancashire, with Susie Bates from Durham, 3, Davina Perrin from Warwickshire, 4, Danny White-Hodge from Surrey, our wicketkeeper, Kira Chatley from Surrey. Coming in at 6 is Catherine Bryce from the Blaze, 7, Georgia Adams from Hampshire, 8, Maddie Villiers from Durham, 9, Amanda Jade Wellington from Somerset, 10, Georgia Davis from Warwickshire, and 11, Esme McGregor from Essex. That is a strong best 11 from Tier 1, and one that I would be quite excited to see them, give it a go against a strong England best 11 as well.
It really is. You definitely would not want to face that team. All those players having unbelievable seasons at times, and congratulations to all of them for their place in the 11. Now we've got some general awards, Chloe, and first of all, I think we should recognise probably the position in teams that often goes under-recognised.
So this next award, I think, is quite an exciting award, and one that I think is quite cool to be voted for. And this is our Coach of the Year award, sponsored by WH Cricket. So we had 4 nominees for this award. So we got Rachel Priest from Glamorgan, Mark Broom from Middlesex, Ali Maiden from Warwickshire, and Chris Reed from Lancashire. And by rights, all deserve this award, with all having a successful season with their teams respectively. But the winner of the Coach of the Year is Chris Reed from Lancashire. Yeah, what a season Lancashire had, and compared to their, I guess, how Lancashire were, or Thunder, in their regional era, seeing how they've sort of gone on this journey into this professional county Tier 1 environment. Yeah, they've had such a fantastic season, and I guess that has been led superbly by their coach, Chris Reed.
I mean, the Lancashire players speak so highly of Chris, and you can see why. 2 trophies this year, the T20 County Cup and the Metro Bank One Day Cup League One. And it's been a phenomenal year for everyone involved in Lancashire. WH Cricket are also providing a couple of coaching courses for Chris to give to up-and-coming coaches of his choice. So a really nice way to help inspire the next generation.
Yeah, I mean that's quite a cool sort of gift to receive, and to sort of donate and pass on your knowledge to new upcoming coaches. And yeah, I think as a podcast between us both, we're so grateful from all the support from everyone, especially across these awards. Shall we move on to the kit of the year? Would you like to take it away? Because there's been some fantastic kit this season across all three tiers.
It really has. And I think sometimes the kits are the underrated gems of the cricket field. The kit of the year is sponsored by Daisy Cutter. And whilst the panel did shortlist the prize, it was up to Daisy Cutter's very own to decide the winner. Our nominees for kit of the year were Surrey's one day kit, Somerset's one day kit, Essex's one day kit, the Sussex one day kit, and Middlesex T20s kit. A real dominance of one day shirts in this one. You can see pictures of them all on our Instagram, Rosa Talks Ball or Two Tiers Deep CH. And our winner, as selected by Daisy Cutter, was Surrey's one day kit, which was an absolute gem, it has to be said.
Yeah, I think the kit this year of most of the tier one sides and quite a lot of the tier two sides actually having a one day sort of kit and a T20 kit, I think certainly made this sort of new era a little bit different, a little bit more professional, and sort of with that link up like what the men do across their county season. But yeah, Surrey's one day kit was pretty cool. And I feel like the teams next year need to sort of up their game to try and beat Surrey, I guess, with their one day kit going forward for next year.
It certainly was a work of art. I love an all black kit, especially as far as one day kits are concerned. It's always nice and clean. And Chloe, it's time for another big one. I'm going to hand it over to you for this.
So I guess I have the luxury of announcing the Team of the Year award sponsored by Her Game too. And I think to win Team of the Year sort of showcases that you've had a massive season in your tier. And just a reminder, this Team of the Year is across all three tiers. So our nominees are Middlesex from tier 2, Lancashire from tier 1, and Warwickshire from tier 1. And our winner of the Team of the Year goes to Middlesex. Yeah, what a T20 campaign they had, to sort of, I guess, go have the finals day and win their semi-finals and their final wicketless, and also make a 50 over final as well. I guess Lancashire are a strong contender for Team of the Year as well. But I guess obviously down to the panel with their winners of Middlesex and to see them sort of upset Yorkshire in a tier 2 finals day, I think maybe sort of tip that decision. But yeah, big shout out, I guess, to Lancashire, Warwickshire, and again the winner of the Team of the Year, Middlesex.
I mean, what a season from them. It was absolute scenes in Northampton on Tier 2 finals day, I can confirm. And we're on to our last award, and this one was voted for by you, the listeners. Best moment, sponsored by the Cricket Coffee Co. The nominees were Middlesex winning finals day wicketless, Marlot's Ton versus Essex, Millie Taylor bowling at Mary Taylor, otherwise known as the Battle of the Taylor Twins, the Tier 1 One Day Cup semi final between the Blaze and Lancashire, which was a tight one, it has to be said, and Alana King's debut season for Lancashire. And our winner, as decided by you, was Middlesex's success in Tier 2 Blast Finals Day. Massive congratulations to them. It's certainly been a season to remember for the London-based side.
Yeah, look at Middlesex dominating the last two awards of the podcast, Team of the Year and Best Moment of the Year. And I guess that sort of as well highlights why their coach Mark Broom was nominated in the Coach of the Year as well. So yeah, what a year Middlesex have had, and I guess they probably will or want to be one of those tier 2 teams that are sort of knocking on the ECB's door in a few years' time, saying, "Look, we're doing so well. Why are we not pushing for the next level in the professional status?" But yeah, big shout out again to Middlesex, and I guess a big shout out to all the other nominees in the best moment of the year with MR Lot, the Taylors, the Tier 1 semi final, and Alana King, debut match for Lancashire.
It's certainly been a season to remember, the first of Project Darwin, and those conclude the 2025 Two Tiers Deep Awards. Massive thank you again to Lacuna Sports for their generosity as leading sponsor, and of course to all of the sponsors of individual awards, and as always, our panel for taking the time to shortlist our nominees.
Yeah, a big thank you to everyone, I guess, for the support as we end. I guess this probably might be the last podcast of the year, maybe, as we sign off our first year as Two Tiers Deep. I guess with an end of season awards, supporting the new Project Darwin across all three tiers. And yeah, I think it's so important that this journey we've sort of done and how we've highlighted across all three tiers and given tier 2 and tier 3 the platform they deserve, but also still recognising the importance of tier 1 cricket to the women's game. And yeah, I for one are certainly looking forward to next year. Obviously with my move to a new team in tier 2, so you'll see me with a new team that after being a Worcestershire player for 9 years, I'll finally put on a different jersey and represent a different county. But yeah, no, I guess I just want to say a big thanks to you as well for all your hard work editing behind the scenes. I know sometimes I haven't made a podcast easy with messing up several sayings or pronunciations of things, but we did it. So yeah, a big thank you, I guess, to you on that side.
We did do it, and a massive thank you to everyone who's tuned in and supported the podcast this year. As Chloe said, we can't wait to see what next season brings. It's going to be a busy one. Home T20 World Cup and 3 tiers of cricket in action. More cricket than ever. Of course, thank you to Chloe, who is an amazing co-host and doesn't make as many mistakes as she'd like to claim. The insights she brings to the podcast are invaluable. And on that note, we will leave you there. Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations to all of our winners of this year's awards.
And I guess last but not least, I guess we wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we will see you and speak to you in 2026. Thanks for listening to this week's Two Tiers Deep. If you like to find me, Chloe Hill, you can find myself on Instagram with a new Instagram page covering this podcast at Two Tiers Deep CH. Or I'll pass you over Rosa to find herself at
Rosa Talks Ball. Or if you have any questions, you can contact us on rosatalksball@gmail.com. And please don't hesitate to get in touch.